次の生こそ狡猾に生きる。
It turns out that Blaze sees Seika's previous battle. Due to that, their dinner became extravagant to celebrate Seika's success. This is something Seika has never gotten while in this family. In fact, they often eat plain bread before. Blaze congratulated Seika for killing the monster named Elder Newt. Have good skills. Even well-trained adventurers found it difficult to kill with one strike. Ruft was also proud of Seika because it was the first time he saw Seika do something like this, but Gray still hated Seika. Blaze is also amazed by the decision Seika made to fight Elder Newt. The monster was very weak with fire magic, and Seika could understand that. Then Seika deliberately reasoned that he had read this information from books and had also seen Blaze defeat Elder Newt. Then Blaze will fulfill whatever requests Seika wants as a reward. Seika says that he wants to enter the Rodnair Academy. He wanted to contribute to this empire as the son of the famous noble Lamprouge. Seika also reasoned that he had learned to use magic on his own terms. Because of that, he had to learn more about magic. Blaze allows Seika to enter Rodnair's academy, but despite Seika's status in a noble family, he hasn't been able to obtain an exam license easily. Seika has to pass on his own when the academy's entrance exam begins. Then Seika thanks Blaze and asks his father for one more thing. Seika wants to bring Eva into the Rodnair Academy. In Seika's mind, he could make a valuable friend if Eva came with him to the academy. Blaze allows Seika to take Eva, but he hesitates because Eva has no magic abilities. Because of that, Seika will show Eva's abilities in front of his father. Seika told Eva to shoot fire using her spirit while chanting an intermediate level magic spell. Blaze allows Seika to bring Eva into the academy, but Gray refuses his father's decision. Each noble family can only choose one person to enter the academy. Meanwhile, Gray, who has high-level magic, has filled the quota. After all, Gray also couldn't see Eva, ruining the noble Lamprouge's name at the academy later. She was just a slave and unfit to learn magic. Gray feels better suited to studying at the academy than Seika, the abandoned child. Upon hearing that, Blaze said that Gray has physical strength and a talent for a sword, so Blaze orders him to join the Imperial military. Blaze had watched his children grow for years, and Gray was a child who had not developed his magic at all. Gray prefers to learn the sword and play with the city's useless people. Upon hearing this, Gray challenges Seika to a magic duel to win over the Magic Academy entrance quota. If Seika loses, he will also have to leave this noble family. Blaze's wife warns Gray not to fight with his brother, but Gray doesn't care what his mother says. He couldn't forgive Seika for taking away his right to enter the Magic Academy. Then Seika accepts the challenge from Gray. Blaze says their duel will be held the next day according to the Empire's rules. Fight seriously, no more than intermediate magic, and Blaze will be the referee for tomorrow's duel. At midnight, as usual, Seika was still making as much talisman paper. Yuki said that the incident in the dining room just now was very chaotic. Yuki wonders if Seika will fight seriously until Gray is killed, but Seika says that he won't seriously fight Gray. Suddenly, Ruff comes to Seika's room to wish his happy birthday and gives him a glass pen. Ruff apologizes to Seika for keeping his distance from Seika and Gray. Ruff didn't know what to do when facing them. Ruff has been paying attention to Seika's activities for a long time, from learning magic, writing, practicing magic, etc. The glass pen can be used daily because it is of very good quality, and Seika doesn't need to use his old quill anymore. Ruff is happy because finally Seika can show his strength to Blaze and the rest of the family. He also asks Seika not to be too serious against Gray so that he will be even more upset because he feels belittled. Ruff wants Gray to realize himself and accept what he's done all along. Then Seika thanked Ruff and encouraged him to always strive to be a great leader and ruler of the region.
それは自信ないな。
Then Seika returned to chatting with Yuki about Ruff, but suddenly, Gray attacks Seika through the window and invites him to have a duel tonight. Then Seika accepts an offer from Gray, and they compete at the Lamprouge family's magic training ground. Gray is very upset that Seika plans to enter the Magic Academy without him knowing. Seika says he has been planning to enter the Magic Academy for a long time. Upon hearing this, Gray got even angrier and said that Seika didn't need to brag about his strength because he was just an abandoned child. Gray thinks that Seika's strength is just his luck. Even he also could be Elder Newt's monsters due to luck. Gray against Seika not using the rules Blaze said tonight. Whoever gave up or couldn't fight anymore was the one who lost. After that, the person who loses must tell Blaze that he is surrendering from the duel.
「もう少し威力出したら」降参ってことでいいかな。安心してよね。
Gray gives up and faints after receiving an attack from Seika. Then Yuki says that Seika's true power has been seen by Gray, so it's better if Seika just kills him. But Seika had no intention of doing that. After all, he also had made a promise with Ruff before. Then Seika remembered Gray's words about Seika's luck in defeating the monster Elder Newt. Seika laughed because it was such a funny thing to him. 6 months ago, Seika unsealed his pet demon named Nudo, then told him to run around the mountain behind the city to chase Seika's talisman paper. Seika wants to disrupt the life of the monsters in the mountain, and he has also cast barrier magic so that Nudo cannot be seen by humans. Nudo is confused by Seika's order, but Seika replies that the monster is like some giant reptile. Even though Nudo is still confused, he still carries orders from Seika because Nudo is happy to see him again. It turns out that Seika is targeting the monster Elder Newt's habitat, which is located in the mountain behind the city. At first, he wanted the monster to only attack the Lamproud's residents, but instead, it attacked the city. Luckily, Seika's plan goes well and doesn't result in casualties. He has long explored the forests, mountains, and whatever is around this city. Because of that, he knew where Elder Newt was. Yuki didn't expect Seika to carry out such plan months apart. Even though in this world, humans are always naive and only have weak strength, Seika should be able to do anything with his powers, be a good person or a bad person. Then Seika said he did this because he wanted to play as a weak human. In the previous world, Seika was killed by a weak and cunning human plot. Because of that, Seika will do the same in this other world by living a life full of cunning.
今度こそ狡猾に生きる。もう失敗しない。
Months have passed, and spring has finally arrived. Seika will be going to Rodnair Academy to take the entrance examination. Ruft wants Eva and Seika to protect each other. Blaze also left a message to Ruft. Seika must seriously study magic at the academy. Eva looks very sleepy because lately she has had to study in preparation for the entrance exam. If she didn't study, she wouldn't be able to enter the academy. The journey from the Lamproud's residence to the Rodnair Academy would take a week in this golden carriage. So while on the trip, Eva and Seika have to do something together.
もちろん勉強だよ。
On the way to Rodnair's academy, Seika gave her a necklace filled with magic stones. This necklace can make more spirits approach Eva. Eva thanks Seika, and she was pleased to receive the necklace. Eva promises to keep the necklace forever. Seika deliberately guides Eva to control more spirits to increase her strength. If Eva becomes strong, Seika will greatly benefit from having a friend like her. After days of traveling to the academy, it turns out that Seika has a habit of motion sickness on golden carriages like this. Eva was worried about Seika's condition, so she immediately turned Seika's attention to look at the window. They would soon arrive at the academy town of Rodnair.
魔法を極めんとする者たちが集う城塞。もうすぐだよ。
On the other hand, Blaze is worried about something. Soon Eva and Seika will arrive at the academy, and Seika has been working hard all this time to train in magic. Flashback to when Seika was a baby, it turned out that he was not the biological child of the Lamproud family. Seika's real father was named Gilbert. He was Blaze's younger brother, and Gilbert entrusted Seika to Blaze at that time. Gilbert was a man who had freedom, and it was already like he didn't have a peerage. He became an adventurer after graduating from the academy because he wanted to see what the real world was like. But sadly, Gilbert disappeared suddenly into the demon's territory. After a long disappearance, Gilbert suddenly had a child born with black eyes and hair. Characteristics of children like that are rare in this country. Blaze discovers that Seika has started using magic since he was 1 year old. Blaze suspects that Gilbert married into a demon race, but when Seika is tested for his magical elements, he is left with no mana. Seika's blue fire magic at that time didn't seem like magic in this world. Even when Seika could defeat Elder Newt with fire magic, the ensuing effect on the monster was like being poisoned by something from Seika's magic. This is a strange occurrence. Blaze deliberately forced Gray to join the Imperial military because Seika was too dangerous. If Seika enters the Imperial military, he could become a threat to this country due to his mysterious behavior. Even though he could become a hero for protecting the country, he could also become a demon lord who would destroy humanity. Rodnair Academy is a suitable place for Seika now.
学園はいいところだと言っていた。今もそうであらんことを祈る。
Finally, Eva and Seika arrived at the academy town of Rodnair and immediately rested at the inn. Initially, Eva wanted to share a room with Seika, but Seika said Eva's room was next to his. Eva was sad after hearing that, and she immediately asked Seika's permission to go to his room tonight while blushing. Then Seika thought Eva wanted to prepare food for him, so Seika said he had no appetite due to the previous trip. He wanted Eva to eat alone and rest tonight. Eva is getting annoyed because Seika doesn't understand her feelings all this time.
何か食べられそうなものを買ってくるね。
お願い。
After Eva goes to buy food, Yuki says that Seika is insensitive to girls' feelings. Eva is also too innocent because she doesn't pressure Seika to fulfill her wish. Yuki says that Eva has actually loved Seika since a long time ago. Seika only realized what Eva meant after hearing Yuki's explanation. Then Seika also doesn't understand why Eva is so looked down on herself. Even though Seika doesn't want Eva to think about the status of a slave, servant, or whatever, he was also surprised because Yuki, as an evil spirit, could understand human feelings. Yuki said she was a woman and definitely understood Eva's feelings. Yuki also tells Seika to learn how to understand a woman's feelings and love her. She didn't want Seika to only learn about magic or the theories of this world. Of course, Seika is too lazy to learn about love because it is troublesome. It's hard to understand women's feelings.
そんな勉強勘弁してくれ。
Finally, the entrance exam was about to start. Eva and Seika were so amazed that Rodnair's academy was as big as a palace. Then Seika felt a strange magic power around him, but he made sense of it since this was the territory of the Magic Academy. Not long after, there was a magic element test before the entrance exam for a girl named Karin. Eva and Seika immediately introduced themselves to Karin. Eva didn't know her position because she wasn't from the commoner or nobility, so she calls herself Seika's slave. All prospective students are surprised that Seika is from the noble Lamproud family and they want to befriend him as soon as possible. But they found it strange that a slave wanted to become a student of the Magic Academy. Then Karin categorized Eva as a commoner and told her to put her hand on the elemental crystal ball. If one matched all elements of magic, the crystal would glow white. But Karin had never seen anyone compatible with all elements of magic. Elemental magic is the original fire, water, wind, and earth system. In addition to these 4 elements, there are also elements of light and darkness. This 6-element system was almost the same as Seika's magic that he cultivated in the previous world. After Eva placed her hand on the crystal ball, it was found that she was compatible with the elements of fire and wind. When it was Seika's turn to try to measure his magic elements, the crystal ball didn't work. Karin was confused by this situation and told Seika to do it one more time. She also guessed that Seika was compatible with light and dark magic since this crystal ball could only measure 4 elements. But Seika said honestly that he had no mana. He asked, was it if one didn't have mana, wasn't allowed to take the academy's entrance exam? Then Karin said that it had no effect on the academy exams. All the prospective students who previously wanted to befriend Seika suddenly underestimated his strength. They also thought the Lamproud family was taking advantage of their position to enter this academy and deliberately brought slaves here. Not long after, a girl from the commoner, Amu, wanted to test the magic elements. She had been waiting in line, and all the prospective students were blocking her way.
これは4属性？もういいでしょ。
It turns out Amu is compatible with all elements of magic, and all the prospective students are amazed by her. She was only from the commoner, but could have such power. Then Seika deliberately thanked Amu for seeing her face in person. Amu replies that she didn't do anything, and has no intention of becoming friends with Seika. After all, no mana like Seika would become a burden in this magic academy. Anu is sure that Seika will pass the entrance exam later because of the Lamprouge family connections. She really hates noble families. Anu doesn't want Seika to become her hindrance when he later passes the academy entrance exam. In Seika's mind, he was sure that Amiya's face was similar to someone he knew in the previous world. Because of that, Seika becomes interested in Amu.
実に興味深い。
勇者を潰すのだガレオスよ。はっ